She ain't got nothing to worry about. I saw that video. That's a joke.
I didn't think so either.
There's a bumper when he's been in. Just scratched from what I saw.
You ready? Ready now? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call this meeting to order. Mr. Griffin, we're going to ask you if you would give the invocation.
God and Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for the beautiful weather you've given us and everything. Thank you for allowing us to assemble here to take care of our city business. Give us wisdom, give us prudence, and give us guidance. All these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ, and amen.
And stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Maybe Steve. Gentlemen, you got the printed agenda before you. Are there any corrections, additions, modifications on your mind? That's good. Hearing so, I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the agenda as printed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is set. We have for a number, excuse me, I can't clear my throat all of a sudden. We have been a certified city of ethics for many, many years. Occasionally, we're required to update our status, and there's a little check sheet to make sure we're following all the rules. Ms. Bennett, have you not checked on that for us?
Yeah, we're fine. The ordinance we have is good to go.
Everything's ready for us to, again, approve the, what do we have to do now? What do we have to supply to,
We'll have to send it to GMA.
or what have we got to send?
I think it's just a letter.
Should be all.
Did you not get the email with everything attached to it?
Yeah, I got that. If you'll just table that for just a second, go on to the next item, we'll get that straightened up.
All right, we'll try to get that in order, but at any rate, what we want to do, it's a prestigious thing for you to have these rules and then live by them, and we've certainly tried to do that. I know that we've tried to stay within those guidelines for a long time, and whatever we've got here from them to make sure that we're getting ourselves certified and up to date, we want to make sure that we do that. Thank you in looking at that. Okay, another thing, on May the 6th through the 12th, next month, is Municipal Clerks Week, and it's not only Georgia, it's not only national, it's international Municipal Clerks Week. This is a organization that's reached even beyond the boundaries of the United States into other cities around and about. So we are, the council, with your approval, we've got a proclamation that we would like to endorse recognizing city clerk, our city clerk, who does an excellent job, as well as all city clerks throughout the nation and around the country and abroad. And if, Mr. Attorney, if you'll read the proclamation, I'd like to entertain that once the proclamation is read, if the council will approve it, I'd like to make a motion to approve this proclamation.
Whereas the office of municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides a professional link between the citizens, the local government bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas the municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas the municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now therefore, I, R. Bain Stone, Mayor of Hazelhurst, Georgia, do recognize the week of May 6th through May 12, 2018 as Municipal Clerks Week, And further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Bernice C. Lopez, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. It's the 19th day of April, 2018.
Entertain a motion that we approve the proclamation.
I'll motion.
Mr. Dwayne Johnson has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for vote. All in favor of approving the proclamation, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the proclamation is carried. Congratulations, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
You should get two for a reason.
We skipped 3.
Did we skip
She
three for a
had-
reason?
she asked us to.
Three, number 3, not 2.
Have we skipped?
We skipped what?
We skipped them, we did.
Have I got the wrong one?
Local taxes.
Look,
You got the motion.
You got it over. Yeah, it's not on. your-
Thursday, April the 19th, 6 p.m. All right. For y'all's benefit, Thursday, April the 19th, 6 p.m. It's been revised, and somebody of them, I didn't come and pick up this one, I used the one that's on my desk that you put there. Don't give me no static.
Let's go back to number 2 right quick.
All right, do you think, Ms. Bennett, you're ready, hold on just a second, Chief. You think you're ready to handle number 2?
I have found the letter from GMA. The city will need to take the current resolution, re-adopt it, sign it, and send it back to GMA, adopting the 5 ethic principles is what they'll have to do.
So we've got to redraw our resolution?
Yes, and
We can't
every-
just reapprove the old one?
You have to update it with
It's
the
like
5
we're
principles.
gonna be, we're not by any means delinquent now, are we?
No, sir, no, sir.
Okay, we're fine. Ladies and gentlemen, we will work on this and have it ready for adoption and recertification at our next month's meeting.
We need to have it done by then before our GMA in Savannah, because they'll present it back
They'll
to us.
resurface and everything.
We need to have it back in Atlanta.
We'll have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have time. All right, we're okay. All right, now, Mr. Griffin, I'm on the same sheet you're on. And there was a reason, my sheet didn't have it on.
I understand.
All right, very good.
That's it.
All right. We have, I don't think y'all have it out there, we have a delinquent list of business licenses and taxes, and we can write them letters and call them and say please, and we've got a certain list here of, let's see, I believe there's about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, all these 12 or 15 that's really, really behind. You gentlemen, you've got the list before you. We're entertaining the help of council in determining what we're going to do to get this up to date.
Mr. Mayor, I do believe that we need to enforce this. I see some of them that are very close to me and are good friends, but when it comes down to the business end of it, I don't see why somebody was sitting right next to them in a business that would be very appreciative of the idea that they're not paying taxes while they have to pay theirs every year. I think it needs to be enforced.
I'm in agreement with Mr. Ramey. We have these guidelines in place to collect these taxes, and we need to enforce it. Not just for a few or whoever, we need to enforce for all of them across the board.
Across the board.
Mr. Johnson, you got any addition to that?
I concur.
Okay, it appears then that we need to ask our attorney to give us the direction to put the final clamp and get this matter handled.
Don't we have a company that do that though?
Well, GMA will do it for you. GMA's got a program there. I think, Mr. Attorney, can't we get right with our chief over here and you and can't we collect these
I
taxes?
think we can start with send a letter to them, saying it's been brought. to-
Well, we've already done all that. haven't we?
Let me bring you up to date what we've done.
Okay.
We've sent 3 letters, we've hung 2 door hangers and handwritten some of them and handed them to them.
We wouldn't have brought it here if it hadn't.
What we need is, I think according, of course, with the attorneys need to look over my shoulder, but I think we need this gentleman to write citations next, if that's what law
We can get
says.
with the chief and we'll see what we can do about enforcement of that.
All right, I entertain a motion, gentlemen, that we solicit the help of our attorney and our chief of police to take the necessary actions to collect these delinquent taxes and licenses.
So moved.
I got a motion made twice. Mr. Griffin will say you made the motion, Mr. Ramey, you seconded. All right, we're ready to clamp down. Mr. Charles Harrell, our code enforcement man, has worked and struggled with him, and we're tired of fooling with him. So any further discussion about getting to the end of this thing? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, folks, we expect this results. Okay, now then, we've adopted the first thing. All right, now, Chief, finally, you've been standing there real nice. You've behaved real well. All right, go ahead.
Number 5 is discussing that body armor policy. If you guys had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, well, bring us up to date on what's.
The attorney, I didn't ask him.
Yeah,
And for future reference, if I want to change the policy, do I need to bring it to the council, or do I just need to draft it
I
and
think
show
we
it?
authorize you to set the policy.
are we going to, here's the thing I think that you're asking us to do, to set the policy that's mandatory.
Right. I want to set the policy
That
as it
is
is mandatory.
mandatory,
Right.
okay? You need the council's help in getting that done, I think, do you not?
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
And if they set the policy, and once the policy changes, present it to the council and see if that's okay. Not just.
That's what I'm
this year,
doing,
I
yeah.
want it done, huh? You don't understand what I'm saying?
Right.
After you write it, you bring it to them, then the attorney and the council, the one that okay it, yeah.
Okay.
That's where it has always been since I've been here.
I think the only policy you're saying is make it mandatory that they wear it.
Right. I want to change the thing where it says it is recommended, and I want to put it is required.
Mandatory, yeah.
All right, I think we've hashed this thing around long enough now. Let's get this handled and get it behind us. I entertain a motion that we approve the chief's recommendation that wearing body armor be mandated.
So moved.
We've got two motions again down there. Griffin, you want to second it? I'll second it. Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve the chief's recommendation that our officers wear body. Some of them, most of them do now.
Right.
Most of them already do,
Most
there's just
do.
one or two that don't. The thing of it is, for the benefit of the people that may not know, in order to get some help and grants to be able to get this equipment for our officers, this has to be the policy. If it's not the policy, then we don't get the grant. So this is sort of the first step of doing that. With that, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, your recommendation has been adopted. Now then, you want to talk to us about the money? Or you just gonna go with your grant now and come back later with that?
Yes, sir. I can apply for the grant now.
Okay,
I
so
got
you don't need anything from us on that then? anymore?
Not on that one, no, sir.
Right now, okay, on next slide, okay, let's go to 6.
Okay.
The global software invoice.
Right? Okay, Monday night, I was told to come up with some numbers. And I just want to tell you, Sandra went back all the way to 2014. So this is average number of paid tickets per month, okay? And in the year 2014, that number was 10 per month. 2015 was 9. 2016 was 7. 2017 was 13. And in the 3 months of 2018 so far, it's 20. So the number's rising.
And clarification, that's not tickets was written, that's when it's actually paid.
That's when it's actually
Being
paid. Right,
There's a lot.
right.
Cash flow.
This is not citations written. This is paid citations. And with that, if you average 20, that would be $600 per month that the police department would be generating to go toward the software. It would cost the city an additional $600 per month to get the equipment and the software. If we had more than 20 citations paid, it would be less on the city. If we didn't have 20, the city would have to pay a little more.
You have to get up to the $1,200.
Right, but we're averaging 20.
Well, that's, and here again, I know the council, probably, and a lot of you, this is repetitious, you get tired of hearing it. But for those of you that are visitors here and don't know, the operation of our city police department, the city of Hazelhurst, is $1 million a year operation. It costs the taxpayers of the city of Hazelhurst $1 million to operate it. And one reason you see these the amount of tickets coming and increasing is we've sort of pleaded with the chief that we don't want a ticket written that shouldn't be written. We're not here to impose fines upon our citizens. But when it's costing $1 million to have those officers out there, the violators, belligerent, bad violators, should be paying the bill. We shouldn't let them get up there right up down this need and taking care of things. The belligerent violators, and we're beginning, the chief and his staff is finding these and there's no coming back, oh, it's a speed limit. No, it ain't. When you cut the fool and speed, do what some of these folks are doing, they need to pay a ticket, and even us politicians don't even sympathize with them. Now, let me ask you this. Are we to the point, gentlemen, I'm asking y'all now, the council, we hashed this over last week, and they want to put this software in the cars so that they can write the tickets and do all this paperwork in the car. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And gentlemen, I'm telling you, and I'm repeating again, but a lot of officers are pulling a full week shift and having to come back in on Saturday 5 hours to write their tickets. If this stuff is in their car at the time they pull it over and making the infraction against those people, they can write the ticket in the car and it's done.
You should say the difference of that $600 just in overtime.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah,
easy.
I think so.
I'm guessing it's gonna go a long way towards it, yes, sir.
Are we ready to issue a contract for this equipment?
I just need a yes or a no from council, and I can contact the manager.
If you're doing this and we don't, generate enough, are you considering this amount of money in your budget? Cause you're working on the budget now, right?
Right.
Let's just say it's got to be a shortfall. I don't know how to.
I don't think we're gonna spend this money in this budget. It's gonna take him that long to get his grant on his arm and get it all, but, so I don't think it's gonna affect this budget. I think it can come in effect as of July.
Right, but that's what he's asking. He's asking, is he budgeting
But-
for,
As long as it's gonna take to get it in place, I don't think that none of this money will come out of my budget right now.
You won't have to make a budget amendment now.
Are you saying you're gonna be budgeting $600 per month, to cover the missing part on the
I may
average?
say I may budget a little more than that, because if people don't pay, then the city's gotta pay that bill.
Okay.
And gentlemen, let me remind you something else too now. Initially, there's $50,000 worth of equipment gonna be bought to put these cars and all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah.
So, that will also have to be worked in your budget, which I figure how we're gonna come up with that. So you better keep.
Well, that's in the 1,200.
That's in the.
That's in the $1,200.
It is covered.
Yes, sir.
I thought we decided Monday night that it was not.
No, that's in it. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. That's a little.
I told him,
That's a little.
match 50,000, we'll start with the 1,200 per month to pay for
It's
it.
$24,000 worth of equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
If you wanna outright buy their software, it's $50,000.
Okay.
Right.
But with this contract that you're doing with option one, you don't buy that, you just pay this month.
That's right. That's
And they
right.
also service the equipment.
They service the equipment.
I think we.
And once, after 3 years, that equipment's paid for, that belongs to the city. Once you pay for it for 3 years, if that equipment belongs to the city.
Okay, good, I'm glad you clarified that. I was confused on that myself. All right,
Let
gentlemen.
me ask
Okay, go
a
ahead.
question here, I don't wanna throw another curve into it, but, does this have anything, tied to it as a tag reader, or could
No,
it be
no,
ever?
sir. That does not have, tag readers are expensive. Very expensive. They work.
Very helpful.
They are very helpful, but they are very expensive. $15,000 or $20,000, I think, is what the tag reads.
There's some constitutional questions about that too, though, so I'm a little scared of
You
it.
know what your tag read like that?
I've seen them work.
They had them in Lumber City for a while, right?
They need to run the state patrol's putting them on their cars now. There's at least one in each district.
Can we borrow Lumber City?
They got them on there, I don't know if they're using them, but they're on the car.
Let's move along. Let's authorize, somebody come up with some kind of motion, authorize the man to proceed with getting this work into this upcoming year budget.
I make a motion, we authorize the chief to get the ball rolling with the global software invoice and courtware solutions, and that's where I'm gonna leave it at.
Seek the bids, seek the contract or whatever.
Right, yeah, to get the contract ready for us to take and sign.
I've got a motion, boy, I hope everybody understands it. Somebody second it.
I second it.
Are you sure you want it?
No, I'll second it, but I want you to try to make sure you get the overcost in your budget, that extra $600, try to do something with that, so we don't have to.
Come back later.
Okay, yeah, that will be worked in the upcoming budget. It won't be expended this year. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chief, you got it made.
Thank you.
Now you gotta keep writing those tickets to pay for it. Okay, next item. Item number 7. Am I right now, Mr. Griffin?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, on item 7 now. Okay, good, thank you, sir. All right, somewhere, somebody with activities going on the Old Graham Road out there, they tell me that a lady's got a salvage field and all out there, is running up down, speeding up down the road. I won't mention her last name, but her first name's Rhonda. And, but anyway, we got to put they won't put a stop sign out there. Gentlemen, I'm turning it over to you.
Chief, we're gonna need some insight here on what you think and everything as far as the three-way stop at Old Graham and Farmers. I'm just asking, we know that the traffic and the speeds that come through there are bad. We know once we get the park opened up, that there will be probably more children coming from across the neighborhood over there to walk to the park, possibly, and whatever else. But in your professional opinion, is this something we need to look at this time? I mean, be honest, speak freely, because we need to know. We don't need to just take it.
I asked the same question just a little while ago.
I appreciate you putting me on the spot, too. I know.
Wait.
Yeah. No, I think, why don't you give me the opportunity first to go out and let's concentrate on that area and try to slow some people down and see how that works. And if it doesn't work, if we're getting the same people over and over and over, then we do something.
And that's what I'm thinking. We can take and try to control what we've got there before we actually take and make a change to it.
Right.
And I mean, I'm in agreement with you. The council is good with that, everything.
You want to make, any further discussion, questions, whatnot? Mr. Grigger, would you like to make a motion that we ask the chief to proceed with that study?
Chief, make a motion that you take and proceed with the study out of Graham Street and Farmers. Report back to us what you think is going to be in our best interest, whether it's a three-way stop or whether it can be maintained and controlled.
We could even put a light up there, a flashing red light or something. There's all sorts of things we like to do. All right, is there a second to Mr. Griffin's motion?
Second that motion.
Second to Mr. Ramey has made a second to the motion. Any further discussion?
I think that it's a good idea that we put a study to it, make decisions off of affirmative decision that whether we got a problem or not, we got a problem with it solved.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any no opposition? The motion carried. Chief, come back and tell us what you think we ought to do. Okay, Ms. Bennett, I believe you're back there. You've revised, we had a little discussion last week on the rules for using the splash pad.
Yeah, I made a few revisions, and I talked to, we put it out on Facebook, and I've sent it around to some different people and got some input. And 99% of the people didn't really have any issues with the rules. They thought they were pretty reasonable. I did have one or two call me at the office and ask a few questions, but after I talked to them, explained the reasoning behind them, they were completely fine. So.
Okay, I think that Ms. Bennett is to be commended for all of the energy and effort she's put into this project, and certainly once it's, and for those of you that may not know, that's going to be a very nice splash pad. There's splash pads around and about, but not one like that. So you can, Hazelhurst can, whether you want it or don't want it or like or whatever, but it's done, and it's going to be here for our young people and for our town. It's going to be a right fancy splash pad. And it's going to require some care too now, because because of the nature of this unit. If we get 2 or 3 older children that want to cut the food and misbehave, that can cause us a tremendous amount of damage. And so that's one reason that Ms. Bennett and others have worked so hard in trying to get these rules. It's going to require that we look after it. And with this, and here again, there wouldn't be any more in favor of having it and for our community to have this facility for our children in the summertime. It's so hot. I think it would just be a wonderful addition. But we have been maintaining, in case some of you don't know, we've been maintaining city parks for a long time. Not a splash pad, swings and other things, and bathrooms and whatnot, and I'm telling you, they tear them all to pieces. You just about cannot control it. And so at any rate, we all have to work together to help maintain this and keep it in good shape. Thank you for doing that. You want us to adapt these rules now so that we can go ahead and publish them?
Yes, sir, if you don't mind.
All right, let's entertain a motion that we approve the splash pad rules as presented to you in your folder there.
I move that we do adopt these rules, it being that was one that brought up questions last time.
I got a motion that we adopt the rules that have been amended, and of course, go ahead, and is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Johnson. Further discussion, rules can be amended anytime.
Well, I did take in Mr. Ramey's concern, did a few modifications for him, so we good.
Well, you notice he made the motion, so he's happy.
As the discussion was, it's not going to be the little children that we're really concerned about the clothing, it's the adults that putting the clothing on the little children.
But he's satisfied, and again, once we get going, I'm quite sure that here there'll be some modifications that we'll have to do. But for all of you, the general public, I'm asking y'all to let it be known that it is a real nice facility, and that we need to all do what we can to try to maintain it and keep it in good shape. All right, let's move on. All right, the splash pad, the fencing.
Yeah, I got a revised quote on that.
You got a motion, but you didn't
You need
take a
to-
Wait a minute, did I not vote on that?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We were talking about rules, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
rules.
And we made it, okay, and that's right, I run my mouth. Yeah, and I was, okay. All right, now then we're ready. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. Thank you for correcting me. All right, what about your fence?
I went back with Hank Hobbs, he was the lowest bid the last time, and he's still the lowest. We made some modifications to the quote, and his quote is $10,930 for 360 feet of 6 foot by 6 8 poly-coated black fencing. It's the exact same stuff they have around the high school football stadium, including the privacy slats. So if you're curious as to what it's going to look like, it looks like exactly what they have at the football field.
Okay, the quote is what now, but we don't have that quote here, do we?
No, it just came in. It's $10,930. I was able to get it to you. Because I was waiting. I had a couple of other people contact me about doing bids, so I held it. And they were supposed to get them to me before the meeting tonight, but I never got them. So I was waiting for all the bids to come in. But I would like to make one recommendation. On this quote, he quoted 1 4-foot walk gate. I'd like for us to add a second 4-foot walk gate just in case there's a large event out there and we need 2 entrances to be opened at the same time. That would only add $250 to the quote.
What's you gonna add to our auto, is anything to do with our automatic locking.
That's separate, that's 2,400. And I think we need to go ahead and add the second gate now in case we need it, because it's only $250 to add it now.
I know, but are we gonna put an automated latch on that too?
That's my, no, not at this time.
We don't need to take and put, we need an automated latch on one, the
Yeah,
other
just
one,
one.
we can take and open as we need it, if we need to keep it locked and open it as we need it.
Yeah, if we have to go back and add a second gate later, that's gonna be a lot more money than just paying $250 now for a second door.
Gentlemen, y'all heard, the ladies, study recommendation on fencing and, the request for adding another gate.
So the total amount is what now?
It's $10,930 for the fencing. Do you have the quote on the gate? I think it's 2,400.
Okay, 24.
2,450.
So the whole total thing is gonna be about 1,400.
About 14,000, I think, approximately.
14,630.
How much?
But
I
again,
come up with
now,
14,630.
this was handled Monday night, some of y'all may not familiar with it.
13,630.
There is a, explain the lock. Eric, you're familiar with it. Explain this locking system we put on the
Well,
thing.
the locking system, what it is it's just a time lock that we can take and have where we don't have to have somebody out there daily with a key and whatever. It opens at a certain time when it opens up, and then when we close it in the evening, somebody can simply close the door. The door's gonna lock at a certain time. Yes, there's a way to egress if you get locked in inadvertently and everything, but it's just a time lock where we don't have to have somebody out there, run out there at 10 o'clock, open it, and then run back at X time, whatever in the evening. And like I said, it's just a time lock, and it'll be well worth the money we put into it to put it out there.
I did find out that Rhonda has one at her own business, so she can give you some firsthand knowledge of how it works.
Well worth the money.
Okay, gentlemen, you heard it. I entertain a motion that we approve the fencing and gating request that Ms. Bennett has presented for the splash pad.
I make a motion.
Mr. Griffin has made a motion that we approve her recommendation, which is a total of about $14,000 approximately. Is there a second?
Seven.
Seconded by who?
Me.
Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? You know how to call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. I'll handle number 11. We're having on the first week of May.
Are you going to number 10?
Pardon? I'm trying to get the heck out of here.
10.
Y'all bested me, old man, tonight. Now you want to be careful now. All right. You want to get the shelter fees too? All right, let's go.
I did get some feedback from several people regarding the rental fees, and everyone I talked to thought they were reasonable. Going with $60 for a 2-hour block. Nobody that I talked to had any concerns about it. I think I questioned about 8 people, and they all thought it was great. They had no issues with it. I mean, we can always come back and revise that later, but I have had several people comment that they want to go ahead and start reserving it for birthday parties over the summer, so.
Let me ask you this, is this the same one we had Monday night?
Yes,
The same one had Monday night.
Yes.
Entertain a motion, we approve the cost for the 2 shelters, and those of you again that are visiting tonight, there's a shelter, 2 shelters out there, so that you could, we can accommodate more people, parties, birthday parties, and that sort of thing. And this is the charge for renting them, which is, one group $60, and if you go, for 2 hours, if you go another hour, it's $25 an hour. If it's a large group like a youth club or something else, it's $75 for 2 hours. If you go another hour, it's $25. But at any rate, we think this is reasonable to charge for parties. Entertain a motion, we approve this.
So moved.
Mr. Raymond has made a motion, we approve the charges for the shelters. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Eric and Mr. Johnson. That ought to be sufficient. And if they all in favor, say aye.
Hold on. I want to take and interject also that now, the renting of these shelters and everything else, this is just so we can make it known, we will only rent 1 shelter at a time. It is not going to be, we're going to have 2 parties out there renting 1 shelter here and 1 shelter there. It's going to be 1 shelter at a time. That's all it's going to be. The other is going to be for the public, general public that's out there to take and do whatever they're going to do, but we're going to rent 1 shelter at a time. It's not going to be.
So that when you do have it rented for a party or an event, those that are out there, in and out, have got a place that they can go over and
Exactly.
crib their, whatever, and do whatever, they have a place to operate. So that's so that the everyday kids that's out there will still have a place to function in.
I'd like to recommend that the money from these rental fees be set aside to help pay that yearly maintenance fee, because the yearly fee from Cat to come down and.
Let's get through this motion first, and then already got a motion made and seconded. All in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. Okay, any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. Now she's wanting
They will
that.
get they will come here to the city hall
Yes.
to do that, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, now then, Ms. Bennett is recommending that these funds be designated as designated funds for maintenance.
There's a $1,200 yearly fee for Cat to come down and inspect the splash pad every spring. They'll get it back up and running, because when the winter it'll be shut down, they'll come in and test everything, get it winterized, and get it ready for to go. And it's gonna be about $1,200 a year. So I just think if we put that'll help pay for that cost. Any addition can go to the maintenance fees on the rest of the park equipment.
Well, I would think probably, well, it may not cover the maintenance cost, but we'll see.
Yeah.
She's got another motion, entertaining another motion, gentlemen.
Well, we can cover that at a later time or whatever else, I think. I mean, we've done what we need to do at this point. I mean,
So you wanna wait on that?
let's just hold on.
Okay, we'll wait on that. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, can I proceed then in getting out of here?
Hang on, Lem.
All right, thank you. We're having, I started this, I apologize for skipping that again. We're having, and I'm glad we've got a Board of Education member here. If y'all got your notice yet, that this is a county-wide cleanup for Jeff Davis, Hayhurst, countywide. The chamber's getting all those notifications out to everybody. We want him to school the young people that's old enough to get out and do pickup, and we want to get our young people, we want to get our civic organizations to get notification, Board of Education, county commissioners, the city council.
I'm not seeing anything.
Well, it's on the way to you. How about encouraging them, let's all read and work together. Now, the only news that I've got about this is that we've all got to push it, and it's not just a one-day thing, it's all that week. But now, I had the opportunity today at Republic, our transfer station out here is under new management. Same company, new management. It happens that the fellow that's managing it now is an old Appleton County native, and I know all his family, and I asked him to help us. He said he's gonna give us so many tons of free dumping out there to help pay for that, so that if somebody's got a pickup load at Snipesville or a trailer that they wanna get some stuff to bring up there and go in, a lot of it is gonna be not cost us a dime. Republic is gonna help us pay for that. All we got to do is get it loaded on somebody's trailer truck and get it out there. So at any rate, that's really important. We want to try to all work together to get that done. Okay, gentlemen, I entertain a motion. What is it? Are we through with that? Entertain a motion that we approve 12, 13, and 14. You've got those before you, those?
Mayor?
Yes.
Back to each councilman should have one of these that's, each ward is basically, do y'all have copies of this? Did you give them this?
Yes.
All right, in talking to other towns, the way that they do this, basically the city council heads up your district, your area. You get with your people, you come up with 5 or 6 projects that you want to have done with your people. That way, then the city people can allocate assets and organizations. And I'm gonna get with the county commissioners about that too. So each one of you on this list, basically get with your citizens and find out what's the 5 best projects that are 5 projects in your district that need to be done. And then we'll take assets and try to take care of it.
We really expect that if you take pictures around town on Sunday of the beginning of that week, and then you go back the next Sunday and take pictures around on those days, that you're gonna see a difference in our town and county. That you'll see some really cleanup going on. Okay, where are we now? I'm entertaining a motion now that we approve 12, 13, and 14. These are our sewer adjustments and water adjustments, check register and so forth. Entertain a motion. Mr. Griffith made a motion that we approve items 11, 12, and 13, and 14.
Second.
Second, you don't want You wanna take it one at a time?
No,
He said Griffin Johnson.
we were just laughing at that.
It's
No, that's all right.
No, I know exactly, no, I know exactly why you were laughing, because I wouldn't want you to approve them again.
Oh. We got the math right, Willie, go ahead now.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Damn, that was a job. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Okay, we're now open for citizen comments. Yeah, you get the court, yeah.
I just have a question for Natasha. The farmer's market and the splash pad are supposed to be not the same project, but they're not the same project.
Sometime come by my office and sit down with me, I'd like to talk to you about that.
Okay.
That's a big, never mind. Yeah. We don't want to get into that right now.
Okay.
Citizen comment. Yes, sir. Tell us who you are, and come right up here if you would, and give us the nature of your visit. Welcome to City Hall. Boy, we're a rowdy bunch up here.
How's everyone doing? I'm Christopher Jones. I reside at 59 Edgewood Street, just at the end of the city limits. Right? I'm active duty. I go back and forth from Fort Stewart, Monday through Friday normally when I'm here. Right? Just a couple things. So I know y'all remember when Hurricane Irma kind of came through. Right? So some people got more affected than others, right? One of the things that I did notice was that the drainage system, right? I know the sewer and different things like that ended up getting messed up a little bit, right? But on 59 Edgewood, with my house being the only house on that road, right? The drainage is really not that good. Really, it's non-existent. So what I did around that time prior to the Hurricane Irma, because if it constantly rains, it normally floods, and where my driveway is, it normally just stays water there. So I got kind of smart, and I actually bought me one of those big pumps, you know, that they pump water and different things out of. Well, it did good for my neighbors, but not so much for me, because and I think Mary, you stayed further up that road, right? All that water that I was pumping, that I was trying to get from my area, it actually was taking everybody else's to my area and pumping.
Now, where is your house?
59 Edgewood Street, sir.
And where is that now?
It's at the entrance to the lift station going into Hammett Homes in the back.
Okay, that's not
Yeah,
that's not the information we got a minute ago.
Okay, no, I told you wrong, Mayor.
Okay, now then. All
I
right.
thought you
His
were
yard
behind
is
CSU.
actually lower than
Okay.
the road that
I'm
was,
sorry.
that was shut off.
All right, then I can talk very intelligent about that.
I don't.
No, I told him the wrong place. He knows where you're at now.
Now, you're going behind the hospital, you know where I live, you go behind the hospital in my house, you go down to the end of the street and turn right, and then you're coming back and it's closed, except it's this 2 or 3 houses coming back this way down there. It was at one time supposed to come out about where the new mental health facility is at the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what, the man's got a well of a problem, but it's solvable. I've already gone through there. Conrad Swain, our excavator operator who does a good job, he and I got the county to go over there with a motor grader, and right there in front of your house, coming back toward the hospital now. You've already gone by mine and made the curve. If you'll take a motor grader and put in that ditch, at the end where they stopped that road, Conrad and I dug a ditch over where it'll run by the housing authority. So your house, there's no point in you having water. There is enough fall down that road, across and back, that if you've got water, it's our fault.
Now, when did we do that?
It's in my memory, so it can't be too long.
Okay, so now being April last year around this time, it rained almost nonstop.
Yeah,
And
well, here's what's happened, my friend, and you're doing the right thing to come here, because that's what we're here for, to help you. We need to now we've got our own motor grader. when you go in there and take our motor grader and go pull, we've got our own motor grader now. We didn't have it back when I got this done, I had to get the county to help me. But we've got a motor grader now, the ditch needs pulling, and if there's some obstructions down the way with trees that's falling in it, there's no excuse in you having water in your yard. No excuse at all.
We know how to get it out of there. We looked at it because our place is low, I live over there too, and it's low.
And I've been in the land surveying business, the topographic surveying business for 50 years. I know how to do it, and I've already done it. We just neglected maintaining it. So I hear you, and it'll be done.
Okay.
And thank you for your military service.
Thank you for your support.
Christopher, you look stunned that easy, huh?
Well,
You could have probably just called.
no, because, you know, okay, I was just, in my business that I do, it's easy to say that it can be done and it can be done like that. However, manpower, the right opportunity.
I wish everybody knew what you know.
That's it. I mean, I'm just, in the business that I keep, that's one of the things. It's easy for us to say yes, 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 but when it actually, when the, you know, the rubber meets the road, it's a little bit of a different, not, and we're talking about mitigating circumstances, the reason why it can and cannot be done. You know, we're talking about that. Also, with that area, and I know that I'm the only house there, and whatever it may be. Now, I don't know if we plan on, I always say we plan on joining Edgewood with the Edgewood sign off of, I think they call it the Douglas Highway or whatever.
No, that's been closed up in there. It doesn't go up that far.
No, but so on Douglas Highway, it has a sign there that says Edgewood off the road. It says Edgewood.
Yeah.
Now, on my end, it says Edgewood as well. It doesn't.
Oh, it does? Is that sign still up there?
Yes,
See,
sir.
the mental health facilities blocked that completely.
I understand that it is blocked, but it's the sign that's there.
Mr. Lee, will you get that sign down, please? That sign was down a long time ago.
And I've only been here for going on 2 years now.
So you're not a native here?
I'm a transplant.
Well, welcome. We're glad to have you. How long you been in service?
19 years.
How about that? Well, we're glad to have you. And let me tell you something. We know you about your problem. It's not a waterfall now. You don't live on a mountain, but you live in a place that is going down and back around. You've got about 4 or 5 foot of fall, and that water will make that circle. What happened where that house is? The branch used to go right across the housing authority. And they built the housing authority there, you know where all that is back there, and built it up, and that's the water and go around the housing authority to get it out of there. I've worked out all through that. We'll handle it for you.
All right, and the last thing is still kind of the same thing. With my house being the only house, I know it's within the city limits, right? So we got lights all over around us, right? And I was wondering if the city would consider, or however it would be. I understand that that road's not going to join, right? But I was also wondering, with asking a proposal for the council to actually put a light in that area as well. Now,
You mean on the abandoned street bed?
wouldn't
Close
necessarily.
to your house? What are you saying?
Yes, sir. Because I wouldn't consider it being abandoned because.
Well, wait a minute, it is now. You remember there's a pile of dirt. You can't go drive on that anymore. See, that was done years ago.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Yeah.
But we can't say abandoned because someone stayed there and the road actually is accessible. So we wouldn't say abandoned.
He lives on that street, in other words.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, words have meaning, right? Words have meaning. That's what
It's a pretty house.
Most of the street has been abandoned.
3/4, if not all. But words have meaning. But when you say abandoned, and I'm trying to propose that maybe some lighting is there, then everybody would wonder, are we putting lights there? It's abandoned.
Are you saying you want a street light in the vicinity of your yard?
That is correct.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be in my yard. It could be across the street. There's that little area that's there.
And we're taking more time than I wanted to, but this is city business, and I'm sure everybody is agreeable, and we appreciate you coming. Let me give you a little bit more information. He's got a tremendous problem. He's got a housing authority there. There's no sidewalk accessing that set of apartments out there in the town. They walk backwards through there, through his yard, and come to town, back and forth. And it's also a pretty short distance to the local beer store. And all of the clients that want to go back and bring back a six-pack of beer are coming back
And
through
walk
there.
back through there.
And,
And I also try to cut the grass with, so I'm not gonna say this is the city's problem because it's not, because I like my stuff to look a certain way, right? And before, it's all, and I know they got their schedules and I understand the amount of efforts it is to start cutting grass and different things like that. But I try to keep mine at a decent length, right? So every so often, pretty often I cut my grass by 2 weeks or whatever. Depends on how the rain is, right? I also cut that area there as well. because
Thank
I
you for helping us look at
clear
it.
about it. And I should go back down a little bit more. Like they will have people that, go ahead, sir.
Okay, give me another minute, let me finish up what you need to know. It's almost done. It'll be done, I think, sometime this summer. Don't put an exact date on it. But we're fixing to have from the hospital, there's a sidewalk all the way uptown. Once you get to the hospital, you can pedal on a sidewalk all the way up through town. You're soon gonna have a sidewalk from the hospital all the way out to those apartments, and those people aren't gonna be coming through your yard anymore. They're gonna have a nice sidewalk now that they can go back and forth to town on, and your traffic is gonna get much, much less. Now, gentlemen, I know we're in the comment section here, but I entertain a motion that we approve a street light for the man's, that part of the street.
So moved.
Mr. Rainey's made a motion that we approve a street light for the man. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Any none, call the vote. All in favor say aye. You got a street light. Oh, did you have?
What I was asking, I remember having some problems before with that. Now, opening this up with a street light and all is not gonna make the traffic better, is it?
It will not make it better. However, so right now, if you ever go down that road, the abandoned road, it does look like it is abandoned. The only light that's really in that area is my front and back light.
It's
And
dark.
that's-
Place is dark.
It's very, very, very dark.
It's very dark.
But
And
the funny,
let me tell you something else too. These people with all their shenanigans and problems that he's got, a light will keep putting him somewhere else.
Okay.
It'll help.
That's
A
that's
light
the
will
biggest
help,
thing.
will
It
help
will.
him.
It will definitely.
All
You'll be
right,
on the map.
we've approved your light.
You'll be a
We've approved your light. I told you you're gonna work on your draft. What else you want?
And the last thing, and this was just one of the things that I noticed, I know we're finna put a new system in the police cars and different things like that. Now, I want to entertain this, right? Now, I know that's a lot of money that we're looking at putting in the vehicles, and based off of what he said, coming in, people going overtime and different things, it potentially could stop that, right? But I got a question dealing with that. Now, I've noticed some of the city cop cars in the city, they aren't that great. And I would hate for us to put thousands and thousands of dollars of technology in those vehicles.
Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna start the man out myself. You must have been talking to the chief of police. He put you out of this. Let me tell you, we get new cars.
Got
I
new
just
cars.
signed it off on one today.
Hey, listen, he had to borrow money to get a wing car, no more money.
I understand, it's just that I just heard that and I was wondering, I was like,
We just got 3 new ones.
All right, so that's gonna be but that's what the systems are going in those 3 new cars, right? Not the other ones.
We got 6 of them.
Let me have your attention a minute. I think you've seen that we welcome you, and we're glad to have you as a citizen, and we're on your side. But now, as mayor, you're out of order.
I was just wondering, but I really appreciate the council for approving.
You know I'm teasing you, but in a way, I'm not.
But all joking aside, and the reason I asked that question is my wife, I'm leaving out of town and pretty frequently. I'm going to Fort Hood on Sunday for a little mission, and then I'm coming back. And I know you've been watching the news, right? So I'm going to be going away for a pretty significant amount of months, potentially, or whatever you want to call it, days. And that would definitely not just help my wife and our situation out, but I think the whole area. And it's contagious. Once you see a light here, and people wonder, like, hey, you got a light here? And more people may come out to actually voice their opinions or their concerns. So I
Well,
really
then,
appreciate the council.
And again, we appreciate your service, and we're glad you found Hazelhurst as a home.
Yes.
God bless you.
Thank you. All right, who's next?
I have one thing, Mayor. Just to, I guess, let everybody know. Monday night, we discussed that your software is not mandated anymore. This is on the good side, okay, Keith? I mean, Ken, your software now is $375 a month, right?
Yes.
Okay, that $375 is of your $600 that you need. So now you only need $225.
Right.
There you go. You're not out of order.
Give her a check when you leave.
No, hold on. Get loose with money. All right, anybody else? Okay, here, hello, Miss Pam, nice to see you. Would you come forward?
I don't really need to hear me from anywhere I stand.
Well, actually, this lady
That's all right.
needs it on the phone, and you can't.
I'd like to say I'm gonna get Rhonda and Chris to come back the next time I.
Well, I waited the whole meeting for somebody to say that. I even told Natasha over here,
Chris,
speak up.
now, you don't know how much
He trying
trouble
to
you
get
have. Please, come. You opened a can of worms.
I didn't mean to.
Okay, sorry, ma'am. We're through with him now.
Right, well, since y'all all have listened, let's keep on that note then. I'm back again about the roundabouts, and hoping that you guys will find a way to reconsider, think about it again, revote, whatever it might take. I hope somebody will step up and be the hero for me and revisit this situation. I found there are a lot of people in the community that have no idea that this is happening. Now, I know John made a comment the other night, John Bloodworth, that, well, it was been out on this, and it's been out on that, it's been in the paper. Well, either they're not reading the paper, they're not seeing the Facebook thing, I mean, they have no clue. And then other people thought that it was a rumor. And that happens a lot in this town. And other people thought, well, it was coming, but it's not coming now. So there's a lot of people who really don't realize that it's about to start happening. And they don't want it, but they don't know how to come up and try to speak about it. So I just really think that it's the wrong thing, wrong location. I'm not saying roundabouts in and of themselves are bad. I've seen them in places where they work well. I've seen them in places where they're terrible. I have seen that. And some of you have been in some places where they were terrible. But there are places where they do work, do a nice job. But I think those two locations that are under consideration are not the right places for it. The amount of traffic for the rest of the day, except for those times, does not warrant destroying everything to put in roundabouts, and it's going to be more expensive to have to take them back out at some point in time. And, and granted, you may have to pay the engineer for having drawn up the plans, but you're saving the 250-something thousand, whatever it's going to take to build it. And I'm hearing the budget concerns, so I'm trying to save you some money here. But also, I just think it's something. So
We've heard you and you presented yourself well, and I'll tell you this, we've kind of buzzed in one another's ear a little bit. I won't say that your effort is lost. Did you hear me? I won't say that your effort is lost. I won't say that you've made it, but we're definitely hearing you, and I'll assure you that these group of men will exercise their best in it. Thank you.
I do appreciate you having the.
You presented yourself well. Thank you. All right, anything else? Yes, sir.
I need you
Then you need to come up here.
Get on that. I'd just like to hear from y'all. I'm playing catch up on these roundabouts, and like you said, been published, but for some reason I didn't know. And I was wondering, why did y'all choose a roundabout instead of a four-way stop? That's so simple, and you've already got one here that's working perfect. I mean, it's got to be a lot cheaper than a roundabout. And on a four-way, everybody's got equal time to go. My concern on this is if whichever lane gets there first, let me back up a little bit. I'm around the schools every morning. I deliver my girl to school. I'm looking at each intersection. And that four-way stop has been
perfect. But because each one has time to go of their own. I'm afraid this roundabout, once one lane gets going, these others still ain't gonna get in, is my concern. And I think it's gonna be a place to just wreak havoc with that. And that's my opinion. You know, everybody's in a hurry. There's about 30 minutes there that, I mean, it's just crunch. And this four-way stop has been immaculate. It's worked great. And I was just wondering why spend that extra money when something so simple will solve the problem.
I won't be able to speak for my fellow councilman, but I do say that when it came out a long time ago, you know, and proposed it, we didn't have a lot of people to come out and voice, and city council wanted to hear from the public when it was proposed, and they looked at each one of them and see how we could do it, because we've been talking about it a couple of years, but now that it's come up, we are looking at it, to be very honest with y'all, and it's in the work, but we trying to stop it and look at it and see where the public will be satisfied, rather than letting it get out and, you know, and then we start it. But I wish we'd have known in time before they started doing the underground system, because a couple of people mentioned it to me today about this thing, you know, and sometimes my pastor always said, close the gate before the horses get out. And now they done started going out, but hopefully we can do something. And if the public think that it's gonna be bad, we don't wanna lose no money. The engineer part can be taken care of. Heather's is pretty good.
30,000 is what you're saying, right?
This was all started in June of 2016.
16.
It started in 2016, it was safe routes to school, it was a study done through DDOT and everything else. We've been talking about it for longer than that. I mean, we've been talking about it for almost 2 years and everything.
All I heard about four-way stops.
Well, and see, the thing about it is, we put that four-way stop, we've been talking about it for 3 years before we ever put it up. And when we put it up, everybody took and acted like we walked in here one day and said, we putting up a four-way stop. I mean, we take and have open sessions twice a month. We take and publish this so people can come in and voice their opinions and listen to what we have to say. And then when we take and make a decision, because we think we've done what is prudent for the county or the city in that matter, after we've done this, then we come back at this point when we're in the process, we've approved this, we've got money spent. Now everybody's like, well, why are you doing this?
That's just human nature.
It's human nature that nobody,
Everybody just waits to the last minute to jump on the back.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing about it is too, that's the only thing that really takes and it grinds my gears a little bit, and I shouldn't say that, but it does. But the thing about it is if we had walked in here last week and said, we're putting a roundabout in down there, and that's what we're gonna do, that's kind of a different color. But we've been talking about this for over 2 years. This was, and like I said, and it was a study that was done, the school, from what I'm remembering, everything requested, the study was done through GDOT and whatever else, and it was about safe routes. Like I said, we didn't just come in here and decide.
Well, I'm not saying you didn't, but I'm just asking you to reconsider.
Yeah.
And, you know, roundabouts are great, you know, in some places. But I think it's gonna cause more trouble than you're anticipating. And, you know, that's my personal opinion. But I know how that traffic is. And, before the four-way was put in there, I mean, one lane, they won't stop. And you just got to have it there. And it just made everything work.
Mr. Carpenter, you've presented yourself well, and we've heard you, and you're not, excuse me, go ahead.
I want to ask, I'm interested, I know that you're coming as John Gertman today,
Right.
but I'm keenly interested in the viewpoint of the board and the school system. I've never heard anything that's formally presented from what the view of the school system is for the roundabouts.
We, as a board I'm speaking for, we have not discussed it in any of our meetings. And it just hadn't been brought up. And I know y'all done your homework, you know, and, but I'm asking to really look at it close, because I don't think it's gonna work as smooth for this crunch as you think it's going to.
Okay, anybody else?
I have something to say. I usually sit here and I don't say a word and I report like I'm supposed to. This has been in the paper. I have written about this for the past 2 years, at least once every, 2 or 3 months. I put it on Facebook. It's been out there.
I know
It's
that. I mean,
been
y'all
out
said
there,
that,
and I agree with Eric on this one. It has really been out there. And I put that on Facebook. People come and what you're doing now, you are talking about it, but we've been asking people for 2 years. If you want to come up here and say something, come up here and say
But
something.
that won't make it work any better if, whether they come up here or not. I'm looking at it, the practicality of it, and I hope it works for that kind of money.
All right,
I know a simple
all
four.
right, hold your position right there just a minute. Yes, sir?
I'm not saying I'm for or against, right? However, I think this is the potential issue. Now, I know y'all did your analysis and figured out that this is more feasible for that area, and I'm sure you did that. But this is the thing, I think what he's saying and maybe what she's saying is, and I don't know, sounds like they don't really want it, but I think it's because of maybe they don't understand how the system works. You think that may be what it may be, right, maybe?
All right, thank you. All right, let me conclude this thing right here just a minute. The four-way stop. We talked about that for a long time, and like Eric said, finally got them up. Folks came to us, you won't believe it. I've been coming in that road all of my life. Y'all are the craziest people I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna kill some, I've had a habit of driving on that road, and you don't know how many, and I'm especially fond of both of you people, and you presented yourself well. But now this stuff, every time, that four-way stop that you're bragging about, you don't know how much, excuse my language, hell we call.
A lot of people don't like change.
All right, listen, now I'm gonna give you a little encouragement. Ma'am, listen to me. I'm gonna give you a little encouragement. We are listening to you. Some figures that I'm getting, the cost is astronomical. We got a $250,000 grant, but I'll assure you it doesn't meet this. So I'm gonna give you a little encouragement that financially and with us listening, you may have a fighting chance, but I'm not telling you that you are. Okay, we through here now. We've hashed it enough.
You're saying you're gonna put it in just cause you got a grant? I mean, you got the money,
No.
even though it's not gonna be practical?
I'm saying this group of engineers and consultants and everybody else has come up with a decision.
But a lot of engineers have made boo-boos.
I'm not a member of council, Mr. Gertman, but there is one thing that I think you possibly need, and Ms. Anderson possibly needs. There's called a Safe Routes to School it was a study that the school recommended that GDOT do. It was done in June of 2016. On page 22 of that report, they said a roundabout. I'm gonna print that off.
I'm just voicing.
I know, but I want you to look at that, especially with you being a member of the Board of Education.
I ain't got nothing, that ever even done yet.
But I think this is where everything began, but I would love to get you a copy of that. As the clerk of the city, I want to make sure you get it, okay?
Honestly.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here.
I just wanted to come and say my piece.
We appreciate you doing it. Thank you for being here. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson moved to be adjourned. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor say aye. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Great question, right? So, I know, but I actually